Welcome back to Nordic Arms and History. Today we're talking about Norway's light reconnaissance and bomber aircraft, the Fokker C.V. Norway had around about 40 of these in operation at the start of the war in 1940 and was used quite extensively on the Narvik front. This video will be covering its general usage during the war, its specifications, and we'll be getting up close with some really nice old pictures as well. Let's begin. Norway first adopted the Fokker C.V in 1927, when the Norwegian Army Air Service purchased 5 Fokker C.V-E models. These early purchases not only strengthened the air service capabilities, but also gave Norway licensed production rights. Between 1929 and 1931, the Kjeller Aircraft Factory produced 15 additional C.V-E aircraft, followed by the production of 27 C.V-D variants from 1932 to 1939. Kjeller Flyplass, located near Lillestrøm, played a significant role in Norwegian aviation history, especially during World War II. In the context of the Fokker C.V aircraft, Kjeller was central to its Norwegian production. From the late 1920s to the 1930s, the Norwegian Army Air Service produced 43 Fokker C.V s at the Kjeller Aircraft Factory under license. By the time of the German invasion of Norway in April 1940, the Norwegian Army Air Service still had 42 Fokker C.V s in service, split between reconnaissance and light bomber roles. Although these aircraft were considered outdated by the standards of the time, they performed admirably during the Norwegian campaign, especially in the battles around Narvik. Here, Fokker C.V s were crucial in providing reconnaissance and air support to the Norwegian ground forces engaged in battle for the northern city. Now, let's start by taking a closer look at the specifications of the Fokker C.V, and more specifically, the two main variants that saw service in Norway: the C.V-D and the C.V-E. Both versions were versatile, multi-role aircraft, but they were designed with slightly different specifications and roles in mind. The C.V-E, powered by a 450 Bristol Jupiter radial engine, was primarily used in light bombing and reconnaissance missions. It had a top speed of around 215 km an hour and could carry up to 50 kilograms of bombs. On the other hand, the C.V-D was equipped with a much more powerful 575 horsepower Vickers Armstrong Panther II-A radial engine. This upgrade gave it better performance and made it well suited for light bombing roles. Its top speed was increased to 227 km an hour, with a maximum altitude of 5,900 meters. The C.V-D could carry up to 250 kilograms of bombs, making it effective in its role. Both the C.V-D and the C.V-E were armed with 2 Colt 7.92mm machine guns, one fixed and one mounted for defense, ensuring combat capability in both air-to-air and ground attack roles. Despite their differences in engine power, both versions remained highly versatile and capable of fulfilling a variety of military roles during their time in Norwegian service. This was especially crucial during the Norwegian campaign of 1940, where they played an important role in reconnaissance and bombing operations. The C.V-E was designed with a different role in mind: reconnaissance, light bombing, and escort fighter duties. It featured the larger E-wing with a wingspan of 15.3 meters. Which allowed it to stay airborne for longer periods and carry heavier payloads. This made the C.V-E ideal for long-range reconnaissance missions where endurance was more critical than agility. It could also serve as a light bomber, much like the C.V-D, but with its extended range made it better suited for missions requiring greater distance and time in the air. The larger wingspan of the C.V-E allowed for more fuel capacity, which extended its operational range, making it the preferred choice for bombing runs and escort missions over longer distances. Now let's cover the C.V-D. This variant was primarily designed for the light bomber role. The C.V-D was equipped with what was known as the D-wing, which had a wingspan of 12.48 meters, which made it slightly more compact and maneuverable compared to the C.V-E. This design made it ideal for short-range bombing missions, light reconnaissance, and artillery observation. The C.V-D would also serve as an escort fighter when needed, thanks to its speed and agility. In terms of payload, the C.V-D was capable of up to 250 kilograms of bombs, giving it decent firepower given its role as a light bomber. Here's a quick breakdown of the C.V-D's dimensions and performance. The C.V-D's compact design and versatility made it an excellent choice for tactical missions that required both speed and the ability to carry out precision bombing runs. To summarize, the C.V-D, with its smaller wingspan, was more maneuverable and suited for light bombing and short-range reconnaissance missions. It could also perform as an escort fighter if needed, offering speed and agility for tactical roles. On the other hand, the C.V-E, with its larger wingspan, was built for long-range reconnaissance, light bombing, and escort missions that demanded greater endurance. Its extended wingspan allowed it to stay longer in the air, making it an excellent choice for operations requiring a bit more distance and duration. Together, these two variants of the Fokker C.V served Norway's needs well, with each playing a specific role in the overall strategy. Whether for tactical bombing runs or long-range reconnaissance, the Fokker C.V was a versatile and valuable asset to the Norwegian Army Air Service. An example of this will be the battle over Hartvikvatnet. On April 13, 1940, a group of 13 German transport planes took off from Neumünster, heading for Narvik. Their mission was to deliver 4 7.5 centimeter mountain guns, ammunition, and troops to aid the German forces. The transport of these guns, however, was far from successful. As the weather deteriorated and the visibility dropped, the German planes encountered difficulty navigating through the mountainous terrain. Eventually, 11 of them managed to land on the frozen surface of Hartvikvatnet Lake. However, the landing was rough, and with several planes damaged and stuck in the snow and slush, the Norwegian Air Force saw an opportunity to strike. The following day, Norwegian Fokker C.V s from Bardufoss airfield launched an attack on the stranded German aircraft. Lieutenant Svein Eggen and Lieutenant Idar M. Voll were among the first to locate the planes. 6 Fokkers armed with 50-kilogram bombs took off from Bardufoss to engage the Germans. The initial bombings were ineffective as the planes lacked proper bomb sights, leading to inaccurate strikes. Still, the Norwegian pilots persisted, launching multiple attacks over the following days. Although some bombs fell short, they managed to damage several German planes. The most intense raid occurred on the night of April the 16th, when Norwegian Fokker crews, using a homemade bomb sight nicknamed the German Killer, launched yet another round of attacks. This time, their improved accuracy resulted in significant damage to the remaining German planes, which were now barely operational. Despite Norwegian efforts, the Germans were able to get one of the Junkers Ju-52 back in the air on April 17th, only to have it veer off course and land in Sweden. The remaining planes, trapped at Hartvikvatnet, were eventually destroyed. The story of the Fokkers at Hartvikvatnet highlights the resilience of the Norwegian pilots who, despite outdated equipment and challenging conditions, managed to hold off German transport planes, delaying their efforts to reinforce Narvik. Another example of the Fokkers' efforts was on April 9, 1940. During the escalating tensions of the German invasion, Norway's Bombevingen squadron, stationed at Sola, had 12 aircraft, including several Fokker C.V s. These were among the last to take off, with only 6 Fokkers successfully joining in response to the invasion. They retreated northward, playing a key role in reconnaissance and light bombing, while Lieutenant Hansen, flying Caproni 505, joined the ground forces after taking part in early efforts. On May 4th, a squadron of Fokkers, led by Lieutenant Håkon Kyllingmark, conducted bombing runs against enemy positions east of Leigastind. While attacking, they encountered German Heinkel 111 bombers. Kyllingmark's Fokker was engaged in a fierce dogfight, but was eventually shot down. He was thrown from the aircraft and knocked unconscious, while his fellow pilot, Lieutenant Eggen, was trapped in the wreckage, severely injured but managed to call for help, although it took hours for rescue to arrive. Although these are just few examples of the Fokker aircraft's efforts, they demonstrate the critical role these planes played in the Norwegian defense during the early days of World War II. From reconnaissance and bombing runs to engaging in aerial combat, the Fokker C.V was a versatile and vital asset to Norway's Air Force. supporting the troops on the ground in one of the most challenging campaigns of the war. Alright everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions regarding the Norwegian use of the Fokker C.V, and especially in the campaign, feel free to comment them down below. Also, if you have any other general questions, again, I'm more than happy to answer any of them. Also, if you feel like this video deserves it, leave it a like. It does help the algorithm recommend it to more people, and that this information can get spread to more people. That's kind of what I want. Also, if you want to learn more about Nordic arms and history, consider subscribing. Until the next one, take care. Bye-bye.